Yeah, and to go from that to, like I say, doing the Canine Business Academy, like doing the podcast. I mean, that's quite a big leap of faith, to be honest, because obviously, I obviously knew Vicky from when she was puppy school days, and there's a safeness in the franchise that you get leads handed to you. You have like a corporate back almost in terms of like, everything being kind of laid on for you, and then to sort of break free of that and become your own entity where you're actually training others. It's a big step. It's a big step. So like, what kind of drove you guys to sort of move from that to where you are now?
Well, it was it still is a transitional piece because we do still do a bit of dog training. We can't really fit much in now because of all the focus on Canine Business Academy. But what we were seeing as a trend is that dog trainers are not earning anywhere near enough money, not even a living wage in a lot of cases. They haven't got any time. We've coined a phrase, scratting about. And I say this with love because this was me. I did a lot of scratting about for many years because it's like, take whatever comes your way, work with any client, and then go through this process of going, I hate that client, I hate this, I hate the fact they're not committed. There's lots of frustrations that we feel along the way. And because to a point we'd experienced it in lots of ways ourselves, and now hearing it through our community, and some of the places that dog trainers are in are really dark and deep. And so our driving mission is to change that and go like, it shouldn't be that way. Things need to change massively. So our mission is big. The goal is like, make a massive shift, because what we are doing as running our businesses in that way is we're doing our clients a disservice. They're not receiving the service they should be with their dogs. So if we're all about the dogs, it's actually for them as well.
Yeah. So I think for me, like that safety net of that secure job, whether it's the franchise or with me with the corporate, and then looking at it from our clients from CBA's point of view now, going, if you are starting on like either of those journeys that Vicky and I did, whether like Vicky went straight into it pretty much, like as in you knew you were always going to work with animals, and then me falling in it from the hobbyist side, I think that actually covers a wide array of trainers out there. And I think people jump into it wanting something more for themselves and wanting something more for the dogs. So I think that initial motivation of wanting more is what makes people leave that security bit. And then I think what Vicky was just saying, like with CBA, we feel that that's our mission now, to be able to provide that security by teaching people how to create it themselves.
Yeah, I think like whenever I think of dog trainers generally, and outside of puppy school, because I think puppy school is a good organisation, but I kind of look at it like the Wild West a little bit when it comes to dog trainers, dog walkers, that I think it's very hard for people to stand out. It's very hard to get clients. It's very hard to price yourself. There's no industry standard on things in terms of what's the correct training program to do, because things move so much, but also, what should a consumer expect, and then what should a consumer pay? And the problem is that if I could say I'm a dog trainer tomorrow to some degree and say, well, I only charge like £10 an hour, and then somebody goes to let's say somebody who's been through years and years of training, and they're charging, let's say, a lot more because they probably know how to do it, whereas I ain't got a clue. And then they bulk at the price because the industry standards are it's kind of the Wild West. It's just like it's a mess, So I think like actually having organisation and people behind that in terms of actually trying to organise the industry is important, because I think it is the people it affects the end consumer, because they're not getting the level of confidence and care and that sort of stuff that they should have. And I think it affects the people who are doing it because they're finding themselves being underpaid.